Morning. Starting in a few minutes' time. Morning meditation. Good morning, Anne. Welcome. Morning, David. Morning, Joe. Morning, Dean. Morning, Kate. Morning, Polly. Good morning, everyone. It is June the 16th, 8 o'clock in the morning in England. GMT, and we are training in meditation. It's Meditate with Adam, session 86. Training in the Himalayan style meditation, where we're getting a sense of expansion for our intention, expanding our intention, and gaining a sense of appreciation for the vastness in our mind. When we start meditating, usually meditating for ourselves, trying to iron out some of the issues in our life and looking for an alternative way to solve our daily problems. Generally, as a youngster, we most probably weren't taught the art of meditation or taught to look inside our mind when we needed to solve our daily problems. We were taught about the material world by our elders, naturally looked up and followed their influence and example. So looking outwards for solutions to our problems. We learn to solve our daily problems, and then through training in the meditative practices, and then through our life, we potentially experience difficulties and problems, and then we try out meditation. Maybe go along to a class, find something online, and to see if that potentially could help us, because we've tried many things, following the example of our elders, and we may have found that meditation does work to solve our problems, because we recognize our problems and difficulties come from having an unpeaceful mind. It's quite a straightforward point, but generally because we in the world are so preoccupied with building up a kind of mini empire, we can distract ourselves from that. So it seems to solve problems from a worldly perspective, we need to increase our wealth, improve our relationships, and so forth. But however much wealth, relationships, reputation, status we have, if our mind isn't peaceful, we will still encounter problems. And we probably have experienced this ourselves. We've potentially followed the guidebook of, the human life that we should follow. We've done everything we should have done. We got the certificates and the property and the family and the relationship, and we were respected, but still something missing. The mind is not peaceful. All these things that we acquire, they don't function to bring happiness. They just potentially distract us. And something that seemingly brought us happiness initially can turn, and then we find ourselves experiencing problems and even unhappiness, pulling things towards us, which is, as you're probably aware, is the mind of attachment. Attachment pulls things towards us, people, places, possessions, material things. We see something, it looks pleasant, I think, I want that. I don't just want to look at it, I want to actually own it. I want to bring it closer. But of course, that energy of pulling things towards us, which is attachment, and actually feels very good. This is the deceptive nature of it. We can't sustain that. And eventually what happens to attachment, this energy of pulling things towards us, what does it turn into? The exact opposite, which, as we know, is anger. Anger is a mind that is pushing things away. So we could push something away physically, verbally, mentally. You can even be with someone and mentally we're pushing them away by not acknowledging them, pushing away. There's this pushing, pulling going on all the time. We may have discovered, we go along to a class or we read a book and we discover a new way of solving our problems, which doesn't involve material things. What a relief. So our intention initially is for ourselves. But once we've sorted out our own difficulties to some degree, it's then helpful to turn our attention around and think, okay, I'm starting to have a more balanced mind, feel more peaceful, happier on my own 2 feet, as in mentally. I don't require other people to make me happy. I don't need other things to make me happy. I can make myself happy. How? By cultivating positive minds such as gratitude, compassion. I know how to make my mind peaceful. Maybe I haven't mastered it, but we are on our way. And that is something to rejoice about and feel confident. Yeah, this is working. But it's helpful to start to turn our intention and attention around to others. And this is why last night I was talking about compassion, cultivating compassion, and how compassion, this intention of compassion, is ideally what we are being motivated by, rather than just our own self-interest, self-centered perspective. The earth is spinning around me. I am the center of it. This is, of course, incorrect, but we feel that. There's a sense of gravity, isn't there? And it seems this is the way to survive. This is the way to be happy, to have that self-centered perspective. But that causes many, many problems. Yeah. And compassion starts to open that out to the reality of the world, in that we are not the center of it. No one else thinks that we're the center of the world apart from ourselves. Everybody else thinks they are. And so instead of, we're moving in one way and everybody else is moving in another. So with compassion, we go over to their side and then start to move in the same direction that they're going in. And then our life becomes so much easier. We start bumping into things. And this compassion is the great intention to have when we're meditating. You can meditate on behalf of yourself, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you've got to start somewhere. You can meditate on behalf of yourself and your family. Fantastic. Yourself and your community, even better. The best intention for yourself and the world. Global compassion, to set that intention. How wonderful if all living beings could be free from suffering. We naturally have compassion. If you see someone suffering or fall over, we naturally go to help. But we don't naturally have compassion for all living beings. We have to train in that. And that is part of the meditative path, if you want it to be. To start to increase your compassion for more and more people. There are, of course, challenges for that. Our ego will not necessarily want to do that and will have objections. So think, well, what about this person? And what about that person? But gradually, as our capacity grows, our compassion can go deeper, stronger, and reach more and more people. From the perspective of an intention to meditate, it completely transforms our meditation practice. And as I said before, it's like we're bringing light into the meditation. There's a big difference between just, I'm meditating for me, and I'm meditating for everybody. So that's our intention for meditating. And as we're sitting here meditating on the mind, we try to keep that in the back of our mind. So we are surrounded by all living beings. We may be sitting at home alone, but we're connected to all living beings. Whether we like it or not, we are anyway. And the compassion is starting to help us acknowledge that. It is only our egocentric mind which makes us feel that we are not connected to other people. We are. We're intimately and totally connected to people. To try to keep that compassionate intention, we start the meditation with it. We include it as we're meditating, a sense of compassion. And then we conclude with the dedication. We dedicate all the positive energy from the meditation for the benefit of all living beings, all the people we've ever met in our life, that we're going to meet, that we've seen, all the people that we don't know, in all countries, nationalities, incredible, vast mind. So let's give that a go. We start off once again by taking 5 deep breaths. A deep inhalation. And breathing out. 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 Final one. Deep inhalation. Hold that. And breathing out. And we set our compassionate intention for the meditation and ideally for the day ahead. We think about our own day and we develop the wish that we can be free from suffering and difficulties. The days of those closest to us, our loved ones who are next to us now. We extend our good heart to them. We remember them. May they find freedom from their suffering. We bring to mind the natural compassion we have. And we can extend this out, if we wish, across the world. We know very well suffering experienced by those across the world. And we extend our good heart out to them. How wonderful if everybody could be free from their problems and difficulties. With this compassion, we engage in the 9-round breathing practice to clear any obstructions to our concentration. Pressing down on the left nostril and breathing in deeply. Breathing out the left. Deep inhalation in the left. Breathing out the right. Deep inhalation through both nostrils. And breathing out 3 times. Go again. Deep inhalation. Switch. Breathe out 3 times. Deep inhalation. Switch. Breathe out 3 times. and deep inhalation. Breathe out 3 times. And the final 9 rounds, engage in your practice in your own time, holding the breath as long as you can. Remembering our compassion, which is the way to ripen our potential to become enlightened. We focus our attention. We make the intention to stay concentrated for these next few minutes, to stop our mind wandering, my body like a mountain, my breath like the wind, and my mind like the sky. Our thoughts and plans, clouds, may arise and dissolve in the sky of the mind. looking into the mind, mindfully, without judgment, and not assessing, forcing. We're resting, relaxing, enjoying, just being here. Not rushing off anywhere. There's a sense of vastness, like you get when you climb a mountain, spend time looking at the vast blue sky. All our worries dissolve away. Things are put in perspective. My body, like a mountain. My breath, like the wind. And my mind, like the sky. And we still have a compassionate intention, including more people in our intention. We remember others, all the people in our life. We dedicate positive energy from our meditation for them. And if we wish, for everyone across the world, how wonderful if everyone could be free from their suffering. And through the power of my meditation this morning, may this come about. And then when you're ready, please bring your session to a close and open your eyes. compassion ripens Buddha nature. Buddha potential to become a Buddha. Buddha means awakened. They've woken up. And maybe we woke up this morning from our sleep, but mentally we may still be asleep, but we can wake up from the sleep of confusion. And our ability to do that comes from training in compassion. How do we train in compassion? We meditate on this intention. So we remember all the people around us, all living beings, whoever they are. So training, of course, there may be objections initially, but we build up our capacity. We include everybody. And that includes insects and small insects even. And we try to respect, if possible, all living beings. And when we are out and about working, which we may well be doing now, we try to continue the training, try to send this good heart to other people. When we see them, we think about them, when we hear them, that may be physically interacting, seeing them out and about in the shops, driving around, seeing people on the TV, on the internet, on our phone. We try to make the default response compassion as opposed to annoyance, irritation. Why are they doing that? They should be doing this. And getting ourselves worked up. And the moaning starting again, which makes us miserable. Moaning mentally, verbally, is a miserable activity. Compassion, on the other hand, is an enlightened activity. So when we sit and meditate, we see the clouds arising in the sky of our mind. And we recognize that we can let them pass, let them go. When we're out and about and we find ourselves mentally moaning, we're watching the TV, we're moaning, we recognize this is a cloud. I don't have to follow it. I don't have to be rained on by this cloud of moaning. I can just let it pass. And so instead of moaning about what I'm seeing, I'm going to develop compassion and realize this person, these people are experiencing suffering, just like I am. How wonderful if they could be free from that. Doesn't mean to say we necessarily agree with what someone is doing, but we go deeper than just the surface of the action. You think, why is that person engaging in that action in that way? Because they're experiencing suffering. Like if someone is engaged in an action that appears to be angry, harmful, they're being motivated by anger, which is like a fire in the mind. We know what it's like to be angry. It makes us very unhappy. So our compassion relates to that as opposed to just seeing the action, the destructive nature of the action. We see the destructive emotion and recognize the person is suffering. That requires quick thinking and awareness and alertness, and to look that little bit deeper. So that's how meditation assists us, because it helps us to look deeper in our own mind. So that when we look at the world, we can look deeper into what we're seeing. Have a great day. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., we'll be back here for session 87. Also this evening is the start of the new summer term for the beginners. So if you're interested in learning about mindful meditation on an 8-week course, that beginner course starts this evening. Or maybe you know some friend who may benefit from it. Let them know about that on the Mindspace website in the page Beginners. And tomorrow night is the beginning of the Mindspace Plus course, which is looking at calm abiding, training in deepening our concentration for those who've completed the beginner course. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, everybody.